The deadliest haunted roads in America you should never drive. The road twisted like a ribbon on the edge of a cliff. Our car skidded toward the drop, tires screaming. A wall of fog rolled across the lane like a white curtain. In the fog, I saw taillights that did not belong to any car on earth. They floated too high. They moved too smooth. 1 set. 2 sets. 10. A whole line of red eyes sliding beside us, matching our speed, whispering past the guardrail where there was no pavement at all. On the windshield, handprints bloomed from the inside. Cold, gray, and small, as if a dozen wet palms pressed gently and then dragged down the glass. The radio hissed and spoke in a voice that was not on any station. You should not drive this road. Jenna grabbed my arm. Alex, she said, not loud, not screaming, just saying my name like a question she did not want answered. Marcus stomped the brake. The pedal went to the floor. Nothing. The cliff waited. The ghost convoy slid closer, taillights blinking once, like a warning or a laugh. The fog peeled back just long enough for me to see what lay ahead. No curve, no shoulder, no mercy, just the ripped end of a washed-out bridge. And then something stepped into our headlights. It was a man made of dust and shadow, shaking his head as if we were the ones being foolish. He raised his hand and pointed at us, then at the broken gap in the road, and then he opened his mouth like he was going to shout one word that might save us. That was when the horn behind us bellowed. A black semi with no driver roared out of the fog, lights off, grill grinning. It hit us so hard the world went white. Earlier that day, none of this was supposed to happen. We had a plan. It was a dumb plan, but it was ours. We were going to make a road video, not a big movie, just a long, spooky episode for our small channel, Night Mile. 3 friends in a used SUV. 1 map full of stars. We picked 5 places Americans whisper about when the sun goes down. The deadliest haunted roads. The ones people say you should never drive. We promised each other simple rules. We would obey the speed limit. We would not trespass. We would leave a place if it felt wrong. And we would stop if anyone said stop. I am Alex. I bring the camera and the snacks. Jenna runs audio and asks the questions people care about. Marcus is the driver, the editor, and the person who says, "What's the worst that could happen?" He says it with a grin that makes you forget there might be a list. Our first stop was a night run through Clinton Road, New Jersey. People online say a phantom truck hunts you there. They say if you stop on the old bridge and throw a coin, a cold hand will toss it back. We showed up before midnight, because that is how you respect a story. The woods leaned over the asphalt like they wanted to read what we were doing. Fog pooled in the dips. Our headlights made tunnels in the dark. At the bridge, Marcus idled and rolled down his window. No trespass, he said. No litter either. So if we toss this coin, we're standing to catch it. Jenna held the mic out. I lifted my camera. My breath made a ghost in the air. The creek below made a soft, steady sound like a person whispering a word they couldn't remember. Okay, I said, and I tossed the coin. It clinked on the stone, spun in place, and dropped out of sight. We leaned and listened. The water whispered. The trees did nothing. The fog waited. It's fine, Marcus said. And that is when the lights hit us from behind. They were too close and too bright. A truck horn shook the bridge. Marcus slammed the gas. The engine coughed and caught. The truck came on, silent now, except for the rush of its big tires. No plates in front. No driver shape in the glass. It went from far to near to right on us, like a jump cut. It did not drift when the road bent. It did not lift when the road dipped. It only pressed forward, the exact same distance from our bumper, no matter how fast we went. Don't wreck, Jenna said, calm but tight. I pointed the camera back. The lens filled with grill and darkness. I thought I saw hands inside the truck where an engine should be. Not grabbing, not clawing, just pushing softly, like someone in the dark wanting to test the world. We cleared the trees and reached a 4-way stop. We stopped because we are not wild. I thought the truck would plow through us, but it did not. It slowed, it rolled, and it sat right there, rumbling in a way that made no sound. The second our tires touched the paint of a crosswalk on the other side, The truck's lights blinked out. I blinked too. When I opened my eyes, there was no truck, no horn, no heat. Only a faint smell like burned pennies and an old coin, cold as a frog, resting on our hood. Jenna swallowed. "Rule check," she said. "If the road tells us we're done, we're done." "Done with this one," Marcus said softly. He pocketed the coin. He drove on in silence until we were under a sky that had stars again. We slept a few hours in a chain motel and headed west. Our plan was to reach the desert in 2 days. We wanted the road people still call by a number that scares them, old Route 666, now US 491, cutting through New Mexico. The stories there are sharp. They say a black sedan with tinted windows hunts drivers. They say a girl in white walks the shoulder and then is suddenly in your back seat. They say bright lights drop out of the sky and make the world forget a few minutes, like someone cut out the middle of a sentence. We rolled into Gallup late, full of gas station chips and confidence we did not deserve. The land went wide in a way that makes your chest feel both bigger and smaller. The road ran straight until it didn't. The sun slid behind a purple line of hills. In the rear view, the first star arrived. The radio found a station that played an old country song and then lost it to static. Jenna set the audio levels low. "We roll and we observe," she said. "No inviting anything. No calling anybody by name. No saying we aren't afraid." "I am a little afraid," I said. "Good," she said. We passed a wooden cross by the shoulder. Then another. Then a cluster of white flowers tied to a fence. It felt like the road had a memory, and we were bumping over it with every mile. The first bright thing came down around 9. It was not lightning. It was not a plane. It was like a piece of day fell out of the sky and hit the sand with no sound. The SUV's clock blinked. The dash went dark and then woke up. Marcus frowned and tapped the face with his knuckle. "Electrical," he said, but he didn't sound sure. A mile later, Jenna said, "Do you smell that?" I did. It was sweet and wrong, like hot plastic and flowers that had been brave for too long. I looked at the back seat in the rear view and saw something that did not belong. It was small and blurry, like a person seen through rain. A girl's shape sitting quiet, head down. My breath made a noise in my throat. I did not turn around. I kept my eyes in the mirror, because sometimes that is the safest way to look at a thing that wants to be looked at. "Marcus," I said. "I see her," he said, voice low. "We keep driving. We don't stop. We don't talk to her unless she talks first." The girl did not look up. She did not move. A minute passed. Maybe 2. The smell got stronger. My eyes watered. Jenna whispered, "You can stay with us, honey, until we reach the next light." She said it like a person who knows how to speak to the kind of sad you can't fix. At a small gas stop with one buzzing bulb, the back seat was empty. The smell went with her, like a ribbon pulled through the open window and out. We did not mention it until we were sitting at a picnic table with paper cups of coffee. Then Jenna said, "If this chapter is the deadliest roads, then we have to tell the truth. They are deadly because they don't end when the road ends. They ride with you after." We were quiet then. The wind moved the little flag on the pole. An old dog trotted by like it was late for a meeting. A man with a hat that had seen better years nodded at us like we were normal. We kept driving. Our next star on the map was in Ohio, Dead Man's Curve near Cleveland. Old stories. Too many crashes. A bend that seems to change shape under your tires. We hit town late, but we kept to the plan because plans feel like armor. The signs said to slow. We slowed. The signs said to keep right. We kept right. The road dipped, then rose, then bent in a way that did not match the picture on the GPS. "Why does it feel like the car is light?" I asked. "Because the road is cheating," Marcus said. Headlights appeared in the oncoming lane. A car came fast, too fast, and then another behind it and another behind that, like a flock that forgot what road rules are. They passed us, so close I saw faces that did not look at us, hands that did not move, mouths open like they were still in the moment, before a scream. We rolled to a stop at the edge of a median, hearts loud in our throats. The cars that were not there roared on into the night that was. We got a motel. We ate crackers in bed like children who had snuck a picnic into a place that should be neat. We slept a little. In the morning, we said out loud that we would do one more road before we rested for a whole day. Just one more before we let the story breathe. We picked the Devil's Backbone in Texas Hill Country. People say riders on ghost horses cross the ridge. They say an old stagecoach rattles in the dark and never reaches its stop. They say a fog comes out of nowhere and shows you things you are not ready to see. By late afternoon, we were on that narrow ribbon. The cliffs fell away to scrub and rock. The air felt like a long exhale. The sky went gray at the edges, and then all at once. When the fog rolled, it did not creep. It pounced. The world went from far to near to only the small world of our headlights, and the little white posts beside the road that said in their quiet way, "Not too close." We slowed. We talked less. The radio found a station in Spanish, and then lost it to a hum. Jenna kept her hands folded in her lap, which is what she does when she is trying not to show a tremble. I filmed the fog. It filmed me back. And then we reached the place in the road where the world remembered a storm. The bridge was out. There were no warnings in the fog, no cones, no workers, just the ripped mouth of the gap and the dirt edge where the asphalt had stopped being brave. The ghost convoy slipped along the cliff on our left like it knew a secret path. The handprints bloomed on our windshield, as if someone had climbed onto the hood without making a dent. The shadow man stepped into the headlights and raised his hand to tell us stop. The semi hit us from behind. The impact rolled us forward. We did not fall into the gap. We did not clear it either. Our front wheels hung over nothing. The chassis groaned. The fog swirled below like a slow river of milk. I could not tell if the horn was still yelling or if that sound was only inside my head. "Hold still," Marcus said. His voice had the quiet of a person walking on a frozen pond, testing each step with hope and regret. Nobody move. The SUV tipped another inch. Metal popped. Something under us tore with a sound I never want to hear again. The ghost taillights on our left blinked and then started to fade, as if the convoy was bored now. The shadow man stood at the very edge of our headlight cone and spread both hands, palms out, like a person trying to hold back a tide with only their body. Jenna whispered, "If we climb out slow, we can shift the weight backward." "If we open a door," I said, "does that make it worse?" Nobody answered, because there was another sound now. It came from below the broken span, from the fog itself. Chains on wood. Horses snorting. A driver clucking his tongue low. The stagecoach was coming, not on earth, not on rock, but up through the empty air where the bridge used to be. Its lantern swung on nothing. The horses' eyes shone, without light. The coachman looked up and saw us, as if we were the ones who did not belong. Marcus reached for the shifter with 2 fingers, careful as a surgeon. He tapped the brake once as if he could remind the car what a brake is for. The engine coughed and died. The dash went dark. The weight of the SUV tilted forward again, as if the road itself had decided we were done. The stagecoach rose to meet our bumper. The coachman lifted a hand, and for 1 second I thought he would push us back to safety, because the world sometimes gives you one good, impossible thing before it takes the next breath away. He did not push. He reached for our grill like it was a rope, and the whole car slid another inch into the empty air.